Okay, well, good morning, everybody, and thanks, Tony, for inviting Adidas here. I'm not the man behind this product. There are, obviously, as you can imagine, lots of people behind a product like this, and what I want to do is talk to you a little bit about this product. It's our most recent introduction, but then I also want to talk just briefly about why, about Adidas, and about mycoach, sort of what sits behind all the hardware, and what makes it compelling, and sort of what's important to us. I'll do my best to try to share some relevant insights along the way. I think not being a veteran of these wearable conferences, I'll do my best to give you things that hopefully are of interest to you and of use to you moving forward. And I'm also hoping, I noticed that everybody has these little score sheets on the tables, and I'm hoping to get a good grade from you guys so I get invited back next time. So keep that in mind. So I'll start with a little video just to give you an introduction to the product. For those of you who don't know or haven't seen, it'll be useful just to give you some context what the Smart Run actually is.
Speed up to red zone. Maintain red zone.
Okay, so I'm going to wind the clock back quite a few years now, just for a minute, and just tell you a little bit about Adidas, about our business, and about our brand. And this really provides a little bit of context for what we're doing, why we're in this space, what mycoach means for our brand, and obviously the products and services behind it. So what you see here is a couple of pictures of our founder. His name is Adi Dassler. He was a cobbler, shoemaker. But he was an innovator as well, and he dedicated himself to working hand in hand with some of the most elite athletes that the world has known, helping to make products that allowed them to perform at their best. This is really more than just kind of a marketing story for us. So this is at the core of our brand, at the core of our business, and really guides kind of what we do today as a company. So I just wanted to sort of provide that as a little bit of context. And then also sort of touch on the fact that what mycoach really is a service. We sat down at some point a few years back and said, okay, well, what would Adi Dassler do if he could, if he were around today? And he obviously was skilled in making the best footwear and most exciting apparel solutions to help athletes perform at their best. We felt that given what was going on in the world today, we could and wanted to play a larger role in the lives of athletes. More than just outfitting them or equipping them, we felt we could get in and really help them make the most of their sort of sporting experiences, their fitness experiences, and help them achieve their goals. So again, behind this, at its root, is our desire to provide a service. As I mentioned, this service really is geared towards helping athletes get better. Now, that's athletes sort of at the highest level, of course, but that's really anybody who has a goal. That's anybody who has the desire to go out and improve themselves, whether they want to run a faster marathon or whether they just want to sort of get in shape, feel better about themselves, or have some control over their sort of health and fitness goals. That's really where mycoach comes in, and that's what we're about. I think you'll see that as we go through and start to sort of show you some of the other things we've got to offer. Additionally, I wanted to add that it's an engagement platform. So from a marketing standpoint, what we want to do is to get in deeper and have a more intimate relationship with our consumers. It's one thing to have a transactional relationship, right? You go out and you buy a pair of shoes when you need them. And if you like them, you need a new pair, you'll buy a new pair. We wanted to change the model a little bit and take a different approach and say, how can we have a more transformational relationship? How can we help you achieve your goals? And products, great products are a part of that. Technology and service behind it is also a huge part for us. Then additionally, we have these sort of goals, right? We want to connect with consumers. We want to keep them coming back to the brand. Again, it's sort of getting back to the idea that it's not a simple transaction, thank you very much, I'm gone. When you come into the brand, you make a purchase, you get involved, you stay involved, and that's really kind of an underlying goal. It gives consumers reasons to buy. And I don't want to be overly cynical about that. In the end, what people love about any brand, what they love about our brand is the products, and they typically are most interested in buying things from us. So if we're honest about why people come and spend time with us, it's for the products. So that's important. And then lastly, we want to give people reasons to share. We want to give them the ability to share their successes, their goals, their objectives, their feelings, their opinions. So that sort of kind of wraps up at a high level what MyCoach is and why we created MyCoach. We have a concept behind this, and this really applies to everything we do. It's important. So we measure what you do. We then illuminate your performance in some way, and we, from there, coach you to your goals. So we collect data, we turn that data into insights, and then that data is turned into an action plan. It's a fundamental mechanism that we apply across the entire service. The measuring component, so sure, we can measure your physical performance, your speed, the distance you've run, where you've gone, things like that. But we're most interested in understanding you and measuring you and your physiology, or more importantly, your body's response to the work that you do. So that's where heart rate, in this case, comes in. It's at the core of our offer, and it's at the core of how we provide our coaching, how we understand your fitness level, and how we then can lead you to more success to achieve your goals along the way. I'll just reiterate that point. Measuring you as opposed to what you do is really what drives us. It's your response, your body's physical response to the things you go out and do physically. That's the hook for us. Then as we go through, in the end, coaching, this is another important part of us, part of what we offer. It's one thing to say, okay, go out and do this stuff now that we know something about you, but real-time coaching, coaching on the fly, is another fundamental part of our proposition. And that also, both of these two things create a lot of challenges in terms of how we provide this service. And this is really where the wearable technology world becomes relevant for us. How do I take these things out of the lab? How do I take them with me on my run or out on the pitch if I'm playing soccer or basketball on the court? And then how can I get real-time or near-time coaching, which is really what we understand is the best way to guide someone, the best way to give them feedback. These things are really driving the offer, both from a conceptual standpoint, from a consumer proposition, but also from a technology standpoint and what we have to develop. Additionally, what we built is an ecosystem. So we aren't looking here just to make a product. As you saw, it's a pretty nifty piece of kit. It's got a lot of cool technology in it, but it's just one way that consumers can access our service. And so we've created this ecosystem that allows people to connect with this in any way they feel is relevant to them. So whether it's through mobile apps and connected devices there, whether it's through your PC or through products like the Smart Run you saw, or whether it's for partners like the MLS, or here's an example of Virgin Health. We've got a couple of relationships with health insurance providers. So if I'm a consumer, I can get credit for the work that I'm doing, and I can use that to then get rewards from my health insurance provider. EA Sports, and of course, social media platforms. So again, everything that sits behind that, we have hundreds of training plans, we've got community, we've got workout data, and we have consumer data as well. And that's all powering the experience and powering the thing from the inside or from the back end forward. And then just looking at the hardware itself, again, as I mentioned, we have different ways to provide this service. And so we have a fully segmented offer, and it starts, if you look at the upper right hand, I'm sorry, I'm kind of turned around. Sports, at the very top, we've got the MyCoach Elite system, and that's really kind of our Formula One technology. It's the state-of-the-art in high-performance wearables, as far as I'm concerned. And we have over 40 elite-level soccer clubs around the world now training with this system. And the things that we learn there, we, of course, bring down into the rest of the consumer proposition, whether that's software, whether that's hardware, whether that's sensor technology, whether that's algorithms, whatever the case may be. But as you see, we have a segmented offer. We address athletes for traditional sports, soccer, football, basketball. We address runners more specifically, as you can see with the current product. And we also have sort of general fitness offerings. So again, we try to create hardware and service solutions for sort of the breadth of our Adidas consumer base. And then, talking a little bit about the platform. It is a training platform, as I mentioned, and what sits back there are hundreds of training plans that are unique to you personally, your goal, your fitness level, your age, your sport, whatever the case may be. And then you can download those training plans to any one of our devices. You can go out and then begin to perform your sport or train for your sport, and we will track and coach you along the way, allowing you a greater chance of success. I mean, obviously, we all know that the advantage of data is it allows you to predict. It allows you to build a model and predict outcomes, and that's what people want, right? They want to see their progress. They want to know where they're headed. They want to know that they got a chance to achieve their goals. So really, that's what sits behind the hardware. And I've mentioned this before to people that this is the special sauce. This is the secret sauce for a product like the Smart Run. What makes it go is what sits behind it, and that service concept. So now I'm going to sort of switch gears, and I'm going to start to tell you a little bit of a story about how we got here. So Adidas has been in the wearable space since 1980. We've released a number of products over the years, footwear with built-in technology, integrated apparel and footwear networks, and on. Probably, I guess, yeah, since 1980 with the Micro Pacer was the first product we did. But what we got to with MyCoach is the idea of, as I mentioned, how do you deliver this service? How do you take it out of the lab and take it out on the road? And when we did this originally, this was the Adidas MyCoach Pacer product. We launched this in 2009, and in order to deliver the service, we needed to have a heart rate monitor. We needed a stride sensor on your foot. We needed to have a little device that captured and gathered that data and then synchronized back to the web, and also could communicate to the runner and say, hey, speed up, slow down. This is the zone you're in. We want you to be here 5 more minutes in this zone, et cetera. So the problem with this was the service and the experience for people was very positive, except physically. The wearable aspect of it was a letdown. And we were consistently given feedback from users that, hey, this is awesome, but I hate wearing all this stuff. If you're running, you're doing sports, you want less stuff. You don't want to have things clipped to you. You don't want to have to remember to have it all charged. Where's my cable? Plug it into this the night before. So I think we had a lot of lessons. We learned a lot of lessons from this. We gained a lot of insights from athletes. And I think what we really began to ask ourselves the question, what is wearable? I mean, sure, I can come up with a physical solution to do what I need, but is it something people will accept, that athletes will find acceptable to them? So given all the feedback that we got from runners, we also heard over and over again that, hey, everything's sort of coming together on the cell phone, right? And people are running with their phones because they can track their GPS or use GPS to track where they go. They can listen to their music, that sort of thing. So we looked to then sort of condense this proposition to sort of a wearable plus a mobile experience. And that was sort of our next step. And this was actually very successful. I think this was something that became kind of a hybrid scenario. People were carrying their cell phones. You potentially needed a strap or a pocket or something to carry your phone. We had a heart rate monitor accessory that connected that allowed us to do that heart rate coaching in real time. And again, I think we have over 10 million downloads of this MyCoach mobile coaching application. And again, it connects with a heart rate monitor. It can work just using GPS as well. But so progress, right? We were very happy. There's a lot of sort of maybe more broad acceptance to the service at this point when we brought it to something that I think everyone had, right? A smartphone. But the more we worked with runners, real runners, again, that's the focus of this product, is they didn't want to run with their phones either. It's sort of a constant sort of simplification and reduction of stuff. And really, I just want my shoes and a shirt, and I don't want to run with my phone either. I want to be disconnected. I don't want to get calls. I don't want to have to carry it with a strap or have it lunking around. So we were continually pushed again to find a better solution. So what we basically did with the Smart Run was to take this proposition, what you see here, the mobile application that we've been running on the phone, which is essentially, in this case, an Android application, and an accessory heart rate monitor, GPS, all those things, music, and put it on the wrist. And the lesson here for us was, with runners, wearable means on the wrist. And it's really all about the context, and it's all about the consumer, and you have to kind of identify that early early on along the way. That if it isn't on the wrist, if it isn't on a familiar place where runners are used to having something, comfortable with that interface and that experience, then you're really kind of just pushing water uphill. And technology wasn't available for us at the time to deliver the service as seamlessly and in as integrated a manner as this when we first launched. But you keep marching along. Technology is advanced. The heart rate monitoring technology that we have on the wrist has allowed us to do this, as well as many other things. So I think that's an important thing to drive home. And we talk about design for purpose as well, and this really helps us sort of narrow down what we're trying to do. What do those runners want? Well, we know after working with them for years, heart rate for coaching, GPS for speed and distance and tracking. Every runner wants their music with them. And lastly, they don't want any wires and cables. They want wireless synchronization. They want to make it super simple and easy. These things were driven by consumers. They then drove the design of the product first and foremost. We did not look for technology and then say, what can we do with it? We as I think I showed you, we've been trying to provide a service in as best a way as possible, and technology's been struggling to keep up with our needs. And we're getting there, and we still have some compromises and shortcomings that we're having to deal with. I'm sure you're all aware of things like battery life. The screens are extremely power hungry, and GPS is power hungry, that sort of thing. So other key elements that were driving kind of that design, the core design of this was runners need visual feedback. And for coaching as well, we need visual feedback, we need audible feedback, and we need haptic feedback so that you can get your coaching, you can get your prompts, you can get your guidance any way you want. So you don't need Bluetooth headphones if you don't want to listen to music. You can get a little vibration, you look down, and you can see what we want you to do. You can see your performance in real time, and you can get the guidance that you need in real time. So again, needing a large display, needing a vibrating feature in the product, things like that, needing the ability to have sound and Bluetooth, those sorts of things become very important, and again, drive what the product ultimately becomes. And then things like, more physical things. The product had to be lightweight. So we used a magnesium case for the back of the product. It had to be extremely durable. You're playing sports with it. You're going to the gym, you're running, you're outside in the rain, you're throwing it in your gym bag. This isn't a pristine Rolex or something. So that became really important, using sort of like a Gorilla Glass on the display, for example, stainless steel hardware, stainless steel on the bezels and trims. Comfort is extremely important for any kind of sport. It's dynamic, you're moving, you're sweating. We use silicone on the band, which is a challenge from a production standpoint, but critical in terms of how people feel about the product. When they put it on, it's extremely comfortable, and it moves with your body, provides that sort of performance that you need. And lastly, I mentioned this idea, glanceable. The display really becomes the hero visually of the product, because as you're running, you don't want to be able to stop and you want to be able to glance down and see what you got. It's really important that the interface itself be really easy to see and read when you're out on the run. And then the last couple of points I'll make here is, and this really gets more into the UI, but intuitive, of course. I think let's not overstate that. This can't be a science project, and the running watch world has been filled with science projects in the past 10 years. Lots of buttons, quick start guides, pages long. We wanted this to be super simple, 4 domains. Anyone can go in, you play with it for a few minutes, you figure it out. It's a touch screen. It's got one button, one physical button, super simple. Visually, we wanted it to be very simple as well. As I said, the screen really is the hero, and everything else sort of falls away. It's not a showpiece in and of itself. It's a tool. It's a device for runners. So it's got to be extremely functional first and foremost. And yeah, premium. I mean, I think it's an expensive product, so we had to build in some sort of visual desire as well. So I'm going to leave you just with one more short video, and then if there's any time, you can ask some questions. And this really just gives you another look at maybe a little bit more about the interface of the product, setup, that sort of thing. Okay, so I don't know time-wise, we started not right on at 8:45, but if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, Tony, you let me know if I got to get off the stage. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Sure. I think, interestingly, obviously we work at Adidas, so we have access to a lot of athletes, whether there are sort of professional athletes that we work with on a regular basis, or just people within the company that are, former elite level athletes, or in some cases current elite level athletes. So we tested the product really with a whole cross section of runners, and I think that's important that we wanted a product that was capable and provided value to anybody and at any level. And so we really built something from sort of, like I said, from a capability standpoint that the most elite runner training for a marathon, we provide value. I can give you a training plan based on your time that you ran last time at Boston, and I can put you on that plan, and I can guide you to success for the next time you run Boston. So the accuracy and the features and the functionality for what we call the serious runner were baked in, were built in. I think that was a prerequisite. However, as I said before, my coach is really for everybody, and this product is applicable to anyone with a goal, as I said. So if I said to you, I really just, I just got to get in shape, and I keep, I try, I run for a while, I quit, I'm not getting, the progress that I want, I'm not seeing the results. Well, this product is equally relevant for me. I can select a training plan that's appropriate to my fitness level, to my goal. And my goal may not be run a faster 10K. My goal might be I got to lose weight because summer's coming. And we have training plans for that. And they're specific to me and to sort of the type of activities and workouts I need to do to achieve that goal. So the product was tested with people like my mother who might just walk or go to the gym on a treadmill, all the way up to people who are running marathons at an elite pace. And that was really important for us. It wasn't a niche product in that sense. I think what makes it niche potentially is the price. It's a premium product, so it's not everybody's willing to pony up that much for their fitness goals. And I think that's maybe more the thing that kind of segments it.
Did you mention how much the price is?
It's $400, $399.
So the price of a iPad mini?
Sure. Yep.
Can you talk also a little bit about the technology? Why is this watch possible today as opposed to not possible yesterday? And then also, in a sense, you're making a fashion statement. Talk a little bit about why that's also important.
Sure. I mean, the product itself from a hardware standpoint is essentially a smartphone on your wrist, technically. I mean, we left out the phone capability, but it does what your phone does, your smartphone does, and that was kind of what we wanted to start with. We had these mobile applications, we had a lot of users, we had a lot of great feedback, and so all the capabilities that exist within the smartphone or smartwatch world enabled us to create this product. Secondly, and I wouldn't say secondarily, but secondly, that the heart rate sensing capability, getting it off a strap, getting it off your chest, and incorporating it into one device. You don't notice it, you don't realize it, you can wear it. You can wear this product for 13 hours with just the heart rate running. So depending on how you want to use the product, that's really been the big shift for us, because again, we use heart rate to understand your fitness level, we use heart rate to coach you. So making it, having an easy, accurate, reliable solution that we could build into the wrist-based product was really that was the go-ahead for us. That was the thing that said, okay, now we can make this product. Display technology, GPS, all those things have been around. And again, it wasn't a technology statement as much it was how can we provide our service, and now the right pieces were coming together to allow us to do that in this manner. Now, from a fashion standpoint, I mean, I think that's, we're a brand, right? We make athletic footwear and apparel. Anything that you wear, you care about, right? I mean, we make conscious decisions about the things that we put on our body. You might not know it today from looking at me, but I made this decision. I'm going to wear this blue sweater. I don't know why. Anything you spend your money on, you're thinking about. Does this me? Does this make sense? What does it say about me? And as a brand, we're very conscious of that. So yeah, we deliberately tried to make something that we felt was attractive to runners, but broadly appealing enough that it wasn't so out there from a visual standpoint that it might scare people away. That it's not super techy looking or super outlandish. The colors and materials, everything that we did, it's fairly reserved, it's fairly clean. One of my favorite designers in the world is Dieter Rams, and he's famous for saying the best design is as little design as possible. And I couldn't agree with that more, and that's the approach that we've taken to this with this product. So design matters, and especially at that price point as well. I mean, let's be honest. It's not cheap, but it's unique, and it's not something you can buy anywhere else. So it's a trade-off, and sales so far have been, I would say, brisk. So it's good for us, and we're considering the price point. I think there were a lot of questions, but I think those questions are, for us, are being answered right now. So.
Well, you also use premium materials.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, we were very conscious to stay away from plastic, and it was, if you're going to spend this kind of money, it has to be durable, it has to feel substantial in your hands. As I mentioned, magnesium, stainless steel, silicone, just the look of it, the feel of it in your hand is extremely premium. And as soon as you put it on, you see what it does, and there you look down, and instantly, oh, that's my heart rate. And as I move and it goes up and down, it's like, well, that's me. It's a pretty compelling experience. So. Yeah, I mean, that's premium it matters for sure from a brand standpoint, but just, yeah, to help push the price point.
Getting GPS indoors is always a challenge. So is the future of smartphone to be able to talk to my standard My Coach on, so that if I am indoors?
Yeah, you can do that. You can sync with a stride sensor currently for indoor usage, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an issue. I'm sorry, how long with Wi-Fi? Oh, well, okay, I mean, so it's Wi-Fi connected, so obviously it's only when I'm in my house, for example. I don't know that we've tested that. There's no use case specifically to sit and browse the internet, for example. We don't have a browser on the product. So, yeah, I actually can't answer that question. I'm not the technical guy. I believe it is OLED is the technology. OLED. Where's my Electrobit guy? Capacitive. Sorry, there we go. We have had some issues with rain in terms of, sort of the rain activating the screen. But no, I mean, that's not been a big issue.
I'm curious, what role does gaming computers have with your product, and whether your thoughts of this product implementing some sort of, gaming system going forward with this product?
It's something that's on our roadmap for My Coach in general, not just the product. I mean, I think what you find is that if you start to do one of these training plans, there is kind of a gamification feeling because you're being tracked, you're seeing your progress, and then you're being asked to do something else, and you're seeing your progress. So there is kind of a interactive kind of gamified feeling to it. But we are working to have My Coach in general become more of a driver of loyalty, for example, within the Adidas brand. So we want to give you credit for the things that you've done. And if you've gone out and finished a training plan, I want to reward you somehow. And so, yeah, this product will be a part of that for sure, as will the rest of the service in general.
Yeah, we have time for one more question.
All right.
I'm curious about Adidas. When you think of Adidas, you don't think of one
Well, I mean, what I would say is that I think it's different market by market. We're 1.7 billion euros in running right now globally. So we're actually one of the largest running brands in the world. Smaller here in the US, obviously, but this is part of that for us. I mean, and you know, we've made some recent innovations within running, particularly our Boost foam technology, and this product as well. And these are good examples of where we're headed with running. This is where we're going as a brand, and we're using innovation to do that, for sure.